John Wick has been about the guns, it's been about the fighting, it's been about cars from day one. John Wick 4, we have our Arc de Triomphe sequence, where we have fights alongside cars. You've never seen so many car hits in your life. It turns into a giant car John Wick soup sandwich.
Keanu, you're gonna have a gun, you're not gonna have doors, you're gonna be shooting, you're gonna be sliding, you're gonna do a reverse 180, you're gonna do reloads in the midst of all of that.
Smashing people, hitting people, throwing them off with like little 180s and sending them off.
Everything's complicated. If it's not complicated, it's easy. And nothing about John Wick is easy.
John Wick 4 is crazy.
In thinking of settings for John Wick, we've always dreamed that Paris could be the most incredible backdrop. The idea of shooting at iconic places like the Louvre and the Arc de Triomphe.
It is a roundabout that is designed to ease traffic, but it is just insanity because everybody's just looping around and there's mass traffic in there and people are moving fast and it's just a crazy Paris traffic central system. And then people also don't realize just how massive the Arc actually is.
Planning a car sequence in general is complicated because you have giant machines with people inside of them, and trying to be able to do any kind of car sequence well takes a lot of planning, takes a lot of coordination. When you add on that somewhere like Paris, where you have traffic controls or you have different elements, pedestrians, like people coming out from car parks, that adds that extra degree of difficulty. And obviously safety is always on top of our minds for when we're planning any sequence like this. And with the wonderful Jonathan Rothbard and our VFX team, we were able to take just an open area that we can fully control and have full safety over, and then be able to create that world.
And so we ended up working in this airport in Berlin, Tegel, that is not operating anymore. So we had this whole expanse.
We're doing, we have 40 stunt guys in the middle of 200 cars. There's no martial art gym that trains you for that. Like that. That's creative instinct, logistical handling, leadership, like a lot of shit coming together.
Muscle cars are a big part of the world of John Wick. So we really wanted to satisfy that and do something cool and something different.
So when we were looking for a car, we wanted something that was big enough to mount a camera platform to, and also be able to see Keanu driving.
We got two 71 Barracudas and put 540 horsepower engines in them, and put great suspension and quickened the steering and did all the race things to them, and they were amazing.
This has the original style motor. It's carbureted motor and still making 500 horsepower. It's got a racing transmission. It's not the easiest to work with because of that. And Keanu has to really learn how to shift it while spinning the car around, otherwise it can blow up. Thanks again.
He's the best. He's the best.
There is Tanner Faust, the best. We like Tanner.
We got Keanu in a car and started doing some driving, and he has some experience. He's done some racing, and he rides a motorcycle, and he's handy. So we just wanted to explore what is he good at.
So I started to go to Tanner Faust John Wick training school. This 540 horsepower Barracuda with trick. So the main brake just went to the front wheels. I had what they call a juicy brake, which is the idea of kind of like an emergency brake that doesn't lock, so you just put pressure, it'll lock the rear wheels.
Do you think you're ready to do the forward 180 one-handed?
Yes.
And with your right hand?
Let's try.
Let's try.
So I was just throwing forward 180s into a reverse 180. And then there was this idea of let's go forward and then let's do a 270. So come around, and then slide into a mark. Sick. And then they wanted this crazy monster drift. So come in, lock up the back, set it up, 45, and come around this turn, let it go, bring it around, come around. So when we were training that with Tanner in the car, a couple of times things were happening so fast, so then he would have to move the gears. But by the end of it, I was like, no, man, you don't need to be in the car. It's cool, I got it.
This is the most I've ever seen any actor do driving-wise. Just the reality of it that Keanu's taken on is awesome. And his work ethic is hardcore. He wants to get everything 100% perfect. And we're working with a drone as the A camera, which is never completely consistent. So you have to have the driving consistent, the background consistent, and the drone all to kind of hit their best runs on the same run in order to move on. So it really is awesome to see Keanu commit to the driving so much. Yeah! Let's do it again. That was cool.
We had to create a sequence where we tore all the doors off and lost the windshield, and Tanner came out to Germany and we were getting ready to train Keanu, and I was like, yeah, you know, they're gonna shoot at him, and I want him to drop down behind the dashboard and drive and slide the car, kind of pitch it sideways and maybe hit some guys with a car. And he goes, oh, you know, it'd be cool if he reached down and picked up the gun. And I was like, can we do that? And so, you know, him and I put it all together and figured out that it was possible. And then we told Keanu, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and then you're gonna pick up a gun. And he was kind of like, what?
John Wick gets in this kind of gunfight, grabs a guy, but he loses his pistol, and then rips the door off. And so then Scott had this idea, I think one day in the shower, he's like, wait, what if John Wick goes and then picks up his pistol? And I was like, yeah. And so then they were like, okay, this car, there's a pistol, there's the angle. If you lock the juicy brake, you get on the gas, you start spinning the tires. If you go at this angle and then you turn a little bit here, you'll start to send it around. Then you can't see the gun for a second, so then let's draw a line. So then Scott's like, what if I put Velcro on the pistol and then put a glove with Velcro that when you get there, it'll just get there and then you can go.
And you can see that's Keanu reaching out and grabbing that gun off the street, which he did for real.
Keanu now is doing 40 to 60 miles an hour in a long drift, and he's really got good.
With Scott, he wants it a little bit, I call it hot sauce, Roger's hot sauce. So it can't be super clean. It has to, like, if I'm doing drifting around the car, shooting at people, and not just drive around them, but drift around.
John Wick fights are known for Keanu doing most of it and for being long takes and big wide lenses, and it has a very specific style. And I wanted to honor that style. I didn't want it to become this cutty, edity, shaky cam, something suddenly different. I wanted to really live in that John Wick world. And to do that, you had to have Keanu Reeves doing the stuff.
Scott came up with a cool design to have digital cars run up and down so that we can make more lanes of traffic, and we could hit somebody with a real car, continue the choreography, and put Keanu on a safe spring floor that we can also drive those tracks, those dummy cars, to hit stunt guys. So you could just watch and hit a mark and boom, you'd get hit. You wouldn't have to worry about hitting the concrete. So we could shoot as many times as Chad wants, because we all know Chad likes multiple takes. So that was a crazy challenge in itself.
For me, it's the type of visual effects work I love doing, in the sense that we're doing this incredible mix of live action car work and live action fighting work. But then we're doing this interesting combination of unique tools in order to then replace them with digital cars so that we can hit people with a velocity that you've never really done before. It was really important to Chad, while we're in this sequence, to really feel like people are getting hit at the velocity that you would see of all these cars going by. And even though we're doing it at 10, 50 miles per hour, I mean, it looks like it's somebody traveling 30, 40 miles per hour. And I think we really embraced the danger and the violence of being in a fight within some heavy traffic in a city as thick as Paris.
And that is the story of John Wick Chapter 4, Car Food.